just about 1 more minute before we get started. Thanks again for joining us today. So many familiar names on our list and a few new ones as well. And of course, we're here to share the breath, to be part of a community and to gather together in a space that's comfortable, welcoming, and safe. Today, we'll just gently stretch and open the spine as it was meant to move in all 6 directions. And I'll keep reminding you, but remember that this practice belongs to just you, no one else. There's no expectation, there's no judgment. So please move and breathe exactly how you'd like to today, even if it's just finding a seated meditation for this hour, listening to the breath, paying attention and being mindful. If that's what works for you today, that's exactly what you should be doing. It just turned 11 o'clock, so let's take a moment, if you haven't already come to your seat, and just go ahead and find a comfortable space. Remember, you have props at home, even if they're not typical yoga props. You can always slide a towel or blanket or even a sweatshirt underneath your sits bones if you'd like a little bit of height and reach. And then rest your legs so that they're comfortable. Maybe your hands come in your lap, on your knees. And just rest wherever is most natural for you. And today I'm going to invite you to close your eyes so that you truly pull yourself inward. And as you do, know that your mind might become a little active. Perhaps thinking about what you have going on later on in the day, the tasks that you need to complete today. Or maybe you're thinking about yesterday. Try to focus just on your inhales and your exhales to make you more mindful to this exact moment that you're in. There's nothing else that you need to do but breathe. To help you focus on that breath a little bit more, since your eyes are closed, use what we call in the yoga world the mind's eye to draw you inward and to watch that breath. See if you can follow the inhale from deep and low in your belly. That's that diaphragmatic yoga breath. Watch it fill your lungs, almost like a pitcher of water, empty to start. And when you turn the faucet on, it fills from the bottom all the way to the top. And then take just a slight pause at the top of that breath, just holding for a moment. And as you begin to release the water from the pitcher, from the top all the way down. Keep in mind that once that water is released, there's always a few drops left, just as there is breath remaining in your lungs. So at the end, press just a little bit further, let it all go, and then begin again. Give yourself maybe 5 full rounds of this type of breath. And sometimes it helps to even count in your head 3 seconds in and 3 seconds out. Take just a few moments. This will help settle you, it will help ground you. Keep that softness within your face and your shoulders. And at the same time, feel that balance of grounding and rooting. So through your sits bones, maybe the shoulders drop back gently behind your back. There it is. Good. Opening, breathing into the collarbones. A little bit of space between the back of your teeth, keeping your lips sealed. Take several rounds of breath, so not rushing today at all. And begin to lower yourself just onto your back. Maybe you take your hands, your palms, and just guide the knees up. And you might choose to keep your feet rooted or extend your legs. Maybe the hands come to your heart center and you lower down. And then just take a moment to extend and lengthen through your legs just so you feel the four corners of your mat. You might even take a quick scan of your body to notice where you might be holding some tension, some stress, some anxiety. Usually it's in the shoulders, the neck, the hips, maybe even the ankles, the feet or the toes. And once you identify those spaces, feel free to circle that breath right there to move it into the space where it's most needed. And today, of course, your eyes will pop open as maybe you shift and transition. Maybe if you're unsure, you even take a peek at your screen to watch. Julie and Abby are here with me today to help guide you if you need it. But truly, if you can just listen to my cues and follow along and trust that the space and the breath will lead you exactly where you need to be. Taking your time. Let's meet with the feet rooted on the mat, both the right and the left foot, lifting the knees up towards the ceiling. And give yourself about a hip's width distance between your knees. And then before even moving into the space, connect through the bottoms of each foot. You might feel your heels and the balls of your feet root down by just gently lifting your toes off of the mat, but keep the connection of everything else. You can even open your toes so that they splay gently, and then release from the smallest toe all the way to the biggest. Good. Continue to feel that connection. And place your hands and your arms just next to your body, kind of close, and turn your palms down. It'll help really root you. So we open into the hips now with a few rounds of rolling bridges, also lifting and expanding the spine. We'll take a few rounds together, so just follow my lead. On the inhale, feel those feet root down, and then your hips rise to lift. Your spine's gonna come off of the mat, and your chin might tuck very gently towards your chest. Hold it for that moment at the top and pause, and then start to roll down from the neck all the way to the tailbone. Release that breath full and complete, and then begin again. Keep in mind that when you inhale, you're usually lifting, opening your heart. And when you're exhaling, you're dropping down or drawing in, release, letting go. Start to feel that link of prana, your breath, and asana, this posture that you're in. And this is how you'll move for the rest of this time, for this whole hour, linking breath and movement together. Take a few in your own hands. Maybe your breath is slightly longer. Maybe it's a little bit shorter that you've noticed, and by moving through these postures and being more aware, you start to lengthen and feel that change. See how it works for you. Just remember to breathe. As you do breathe, perhaps you notice how it feels when it passes. Just that space under your nose and above your upper lip. It's a little triangular shaped space. You might notice the temperature of the way it feels. Good. Let's give it maybe 3 more rounds like this. So 3 more inhales, 3 more exhales. There, perfect, perfect. Keep that energy peaceful and open-hearted. That's really all this practice is breath, peace, and love. Finish this last round, so this exhale, and then just feel your tailbone drop down. And notice now that you have some length and some flexibility in your spine, gently starting to move together, that space just behind your tailbone is really connecting with the mat. And let's windshield wiper those knees very gently. First to the right, just let them drop and hover past your mat. On the inhale, bring the knees so that they lift up high. And when you exhale to the left. And then a couple of rounds on your own, exhaling, releasing the breath when you move side to side. And inhaling for that lift, knees up towards the ceiling. That's it, nice and slow. Maybe slow it down just a bit. The world is fast-paced, and you tend to follow that lead to move quickly. Well, today, you can take your time. There's no need to rush. Good. As you finish this round, right and left, do it one more time. And then let's meet each other with the knees drawn into the chest when you're ready, giving yourself a warm, generous, affectionate hug, reaching around for the fronts of your shins, maybe the tops of your knees. Squeeze them in. And if you like, you can rock a little bit side to side. Maybe you even lift your shoulders off of the mat to squeeze yourself tight, drawing your nose close toward your knees. That's perfect. Good. Now, if the nose is coming close and the shoulders are lifted, as you become ready, start to lower back to the mat. Keep that bind that you have. Start to roll forward and back now. Take your time. Any modifications that you need, I'd like for us to meet seated with the legs extended long. Maybe you take a moment and fall onto your favorite side. Just a counter pose for those bridges. Keeping the legs long and straight. You'll take an inhale and fill. Allowing for that length. You'll exhale and start to hinge and fold over your straight legs. Your hands might move down towards your feet and toes. If you like, you can catch a bind. Julie is taking her hands to the bottoms of her feet. Abby has her hands gently resting just on the sides by her ankles. Maybe you'd like to just let your knuckles graze the mat, not taking a bind at all. Or if you have a strap or some sort of bind at home, you can even place it around the bottoms of your feet and hold on to each side. There's so many options, and the space belongs to you. So please practice however you see fit. Now really allow the shoulders to round a bit and tuck your chin towards your chest. Yes, your eyes popped open. Now is the perfect time to softly close them. You're low to the earth, you're grounded, you're balanced. There's no risk of falling out of the posture. But closing your eyes will bring you a little bit deeper into the space and might even allow your chest to melt a little bit closer to your legs. So we try to give as much time here as you did in those rolling bridges. So a couple more rounds of breath. And for the last three, I'll give you a little bit of a heads up so that maybe if there's more space, you can fold in with some depth. With every inhale, give yourself a tiny bit of length. And with every exhale, that will allow your chest to come a little bit further down, closer to your legs. Remember not to force or push, and there's always the option of sliding some sort of prop underneath your hips, especially if you have tight hamstrings or an issue with sciatica. Good. Here's your last three. So time to add a little bit more if it's in your practice. Nice. If you have a bind, just release it. Let your hands rest next to your legs. And with your next inhale, start to round up. Keeping the chin tucked and the shoulders round. Good. Once you're seated, let the nose move, lift forward. And then maybe those shoulders rise up to draw close to your ears. And then you can release them down, plugging the shoulders back and in. And you might even want to circle your neck here. Or turn your nose side to side. Maybe you even point your toes or flex your feet. I'll give you just a couple of rounds of breath to just move where you need to allow this practice to become uniquely your own. It's fully guided today, so there's no worries about where you're going next. But remember your reminder once again to make this practice yours. Good. Nice. Finding some balance, whether you're moving side to side, forward and back. Start to even everything out. Good. Start. Coming back to neutral with the nose forward, facing the front of the room. Take your legs and just slide them over to one side, either the right or the left. And let's make the way to hands and knees. It's a posture called table pose. You'll stack to line your joints, so your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Let the tops of the feet rest on the mat with the toes back. And since you're home, you have that option of maybe cushioning your knees with a blanket or some sort of cushion. Good. Give your spine a little bit of length before you start to move, so maybe turn the nose forward a little bit. You'll feel your tailbone gently reach towards the back. Perfect. As you link breath and movement here, cat and cow. When you inhale, let your belly drop, your heart open and lift, and your nose turn up. And when you exhale, like a cat, the spine lifts. The pelvic floor kind of tilts forward and tucks, and the chin moves towards the chest. Remember, inhale, you're opening and you're filling. And exhaling, you're drawing, rounding, releasing. Start to move very gently on your own. Feel free to exaggerate this posture as much as you like. Really drop that belly. Really open and fill with your inhale. Tuck and let it all go. In and out through your nose. Keep your lips softly seated. Now here's a little option to find something different if you choose. Maybe the hips, they sway side to side. When they move to the left, you shift your nose over the right shoulder to feel a C-shaped curve in your spine. Abby and Julie are demonstrating right now. If you need to take a peek and you're unsure. Maybe a little bit of a combination of each of these things. You even have the opportunity to set your hips all the way back towards your heels in child's pose. You can separate your knees wide towards the edges of your mat. You keep them close. Slide a block underneath your forehead. Julie's taking her version of an upward facing dog, a cobra. It's just a different back stretch. And maybe you're developing something that you're unsure of what it's called, or even if it is a yoga pose, just know that if it feels good to you, that's where you should be. I'm going to give you a few more breaths here on your own, just to kind of feel where your body's at today. Where you need to breathe a little bit deeper, where you need to stay and open. You're doing perfect. Exactly where you need to be. So again, just to balance things out. Start to finish, right and left, forward and back. And when you're ready, find that table posture once again, hands and knees, just where you started. This might be your very first inversion today, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Konasana. I'll talk you through it. Tuck your toes so that they curl. Let the chin come towards your chest and press through the palms so that the hips rise. You'll create that upside down V shape with your body, and the chest gently melts toward your legs. Now your nose, if your eyes are closed, is gonna draw towards your navel. And now, if you like, you might choose to open your eyes, and if so, the gaze shifts in that direction. As you press into your palms, you'll feel a connection, and you might start to pedal your feet a little bit, bending that right knee and pressing the left heel back. We're swaying your hips side to side. You also have that option of lifting high on the inhale to the balls of your feet, your heels rise, and when you exhale, then just pressing the heels all the way down. Now, your heels might not touch the mat. There might be a good amount of space there, and that's okay. That's the space that works for you. Always feel free to shift the feet, making them a little bit further apart, a little bit closer together. Same with your hands. This is not an easy posture, especially if you're new to yoga. So if you need to take rest and come to hands and knees or child's pose, please do so. This is not a perfect practice, and this is why it's called a practice. Good. Now let's eventually, here in the next breath or two, maybe three, come back to a space of down dog without movement, Adho Mukha. Those heels are coming, either touching the mat or you have some space there, but you're really starting to melt the chest close to the legs. And you'll notice that your hamstrings, the backs of the legs, a space that's often tight for many of us, is starting to stretch and open now. And you're shifting breath where it needs to go. Take several breaths, as many as you want or need, and start to walk your toes up towards your nose. You'll find yourself in a standing forward fold. Let's take a half lift. So come up onto your fingertips, lengthen the spine, and then when you exhale, fold in. Now you have those props available, I hope, at home if you need to support yourself. So if you're not quite touching the earth with your palms, slide something underneath your hands like a block. And if you're using a block at home, remember it has 3 levels of height, so there's plenty of opportunity to lift the earth to you rather than forcing yourself down to the mat. You might bend your knees here a little bit. You might even catch some sort of bind if you choose. Maybe your hands come behind your ankles. Maybe you take your peace fingers and bind your big toes. See what works. Good. Now, if you have a bind, just gently release it. You can keep your block right where it is. You'll come back to this space. Feeling a little bend in your knees if you don't have one yet. Feel your roots through your feet and then begin to rise up. Just keep your hands and your arms next to your body. Round through your shoulders and take your time. Use those strong legs. Your knees are bent. There's a lot of power there. And when you find your way to stand, just let the nose move forward. If you need to relax your shoulders, you can. And maybe those eyes are popped open. Just while you're standing for a moment or two, close them. This is a space called Samastitihi, an equal standing posture. And when your eyes are closed, you might feel a little bit of a shift side to side in your feet. It's a balancing posture. So go ahead and feel the sway, and then really root down. Good. And then let's move into a couple of rounds of some modified sun salutations. Surya Namaskara, letter A. If you'd like to open your eyes, use what we call a drishti, where the eyes open and you just gaze off the tip of your nose. It's a gazeless gaze. Beginning now, when you inhale, swing your arms up to lift towards the ceiling. Your nose or your gaze will reach to your fingertips. And then exhale, hinge and fold. Melt all the way down that Uttanasana. Take a half lift. When you inhale, come up onto fingertips. It's called Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold and melt all the way down. Hopefully you kept that block handy and close, and if you need to use it, it's there for you. Don't forget those options to bend your knees. Maybe to separate your feet a little bit so you feel more grounded. Or take that bind. Yes, that's perfect. Just a couple rounds of breath. You feel your spine start to decompress. It's relaxing. You're melting. Your nose is drawing towards your knees. The crown of your head is moving towards the earth. Yes, good, nice, beautiful adjustments. Let's feel the knees bend gently as you begin to rise to stand. Remember, just keep your hands next to your body. Good. Nose comes forward. Beautiful. Round two, we'll add on just a little bit. Inhale, the arms will lift to reach. Feel your back arch. Good. Keep your left hand lifted and drop your right arm just down next to your right leg. Left hand lifts up with lots of height and energy. And then on the exhale, your left fingers move to the right side. Good. Let the right hand kind of walk or creep down your right leg a little bit closer to the knee. Maybe you shift your nose or your gaze under your left bicep or down by your right foot. See what feels best for your neck. Good. Inhale, let's bring that right arm up high. And switching sides, exhale, left hand drops down. Right fingers rise to reach. And on the exhale, over to the left side of the room. Adjust that head and neck. And feel the breath move into the side body. So the ribs expand, those tiny muscles give way. Yes, the lungs take in all that beautiful fresh prana, and then you release through the nose. Left arm comes up high to meet with the right. Maybe the palms touch or there's an energy space. Exhale, hinge and fold, melt all the way down. Ardha Uttanasana, half lift up onto fingertips, create space. And then melt into it, Uttanasana on the exhale, chest meets thighs. Just a few breaths. Feeling more grounded, a little bit more open. The legs and the spine more flexible. Physical changes happen almost immediately. Good, that's perfect. Feel those roots, a little bend in the knees, and take your time to rise up. Just one vertebrae at a time. We'll stack one on top of the other. Don't forget you can relax your shoulders, make a little bit of adjustment here to feel tightness. And we'll continue and add on. Arms inhale, they rise up. Good. That side body stretch where the right arm drops down by the left. Left fingers reach high and then over to the right side of the room. Yes, shift your gaze or your nose. That's perfect. Inhale back up through to center. Right hand meets the left. Left arm drops down, exhale. Right hand reaches up, inhale. And over on the exhale. Perfect. Roxy's participating. Good. Left arm kind of rises and reaches. Yep. And this time, let's open and twist to the right side of the room. Hands might come to the center of your heart, and then you open. And just breathe into the waist. So try to keep your hips forward. Really reach fingertip to fingertip in opposite directions. Maybe the gaze or the nose over the right shoulder. Bring it back through to center, so both of your hands will lift up towards the ceiling. And then open and twist to the left side. Yep, take your time. There's no need to rush. Really stretch, feel strength within your arms. Come back through to center, let those hands rise up, arch your back, and exhale, swan dive down. Hold all the way. Half lift up onto fingertips and breathe in. It's kind of your prep. And then exhale to fold all the way in. Your deepest exhale yet. Melting all the way down. Notice the change. Feel how your body's shifting. How the mind is more focused. How the breath is stronger. Maybe just an extra round of breath here, this last breath. If you have a bend, just gently release it. Place a bend in the knees so you can activate through the legs and start to rise. Use your inhale, the full inhale. Good. Relax those shoulders down the way. Maybe a neck circle. You're doing great. Coming back just to neutral. Let's place the hands on the hips and step all the way to the top of your mat. And now maybe you open your eyes. Together, let's move through a couple of strengthening postures, some warrior poses that also create some balance for you. You can keep your eyes closed if that works as well. You decide. Beginning with warrior A, Virabhadrasana. Keep your right foot and toes right where they're at. Slide your left foot back, give it a wide distance, and then turn and pivot your left foot 45 degrees. With your hands on your hips, physically square those hips to the front short edge of your mat. That'll pull your right hip back and draw your left hip forward. Lunge into your right knee. And then let those arms rise up when you inhale. Good. Now feel within your body. I'll give you some cues just to double check. Try not to look, just notice and feel. So the knee right over the ankle. The back slightly arched. The fingers reaching up with the gaze of the nose lifted towards the ceiling. That's it, good. And then relax the shoulders a little bit, but keep the energy through your arms. You should feel that prana just moving through your body, and even out your fingertips when you exhale. That's the breath. Virabhadrasana, letter B, warrior 2. Maybe bring the hands to the center of your heart. Let's shift the hips to the long edge and then reach the arms out off of your shoulders like a T. The gaze or the nose moves forward over the right hand. Sometimes it's necessary to move your feet a little bit so that your right heel lines with your left instep. It's a side-facing asana versus forward like warrior 1. Draw the shoulders to relax away, and then pull the shoulder blades back so that you can really breathe into your collarbones here and feel the strength within your arms. Perfect. Let's turn those palms to face up, preparing for reverse warrior. There's 2 options. The left arm either bends and comes around the small of your back while the right arm reaches up and over, or you might keep that left arm straight and long down your left leg, reaching your fingers towards your toes. You can shift your gaze or your nose underneath your arm so it lifts up towards the ceiling or down towards the earth by your left small toe. Lunge just a little bit deeper and reach that hand a little bit further back, and that's going to give you more side body stretch. That's perfect. Good. Extended side angle. Take that right forearm, rest it right in the center of your right thigh. Take the left arm, like a swimmer's stroke, reach it up and then over in front of you, one long line of energy. Try to straighten your elbow if you can. Reach those fingers forward with the palm down. Really press into the pinky toe side of your left foot. And if you can lunge a little bit deeper into the knee, you'll really feel this breath shift into your hips. Yeah, adjust. Move. Nice. Using the next inhale to come back to warrior 2. Those arms just reach out. You don't have to shift or change your legs. Let's reset right here. Relax again and breathe. Good. And then let's bring the hands to the hips. Slide that back left leg all the way up to the top of your mat. Let's meet with the right foot. Legs are together, and you move to shake it out a bit, just to kind of erase the memory of the right side. We'll find that series of asana. Once again, the left side's going to feel a little bit different. Be okay with that. Don't judge. Hands come back to your hips if they've stepped off. Good. And moving into warrior 1, Roxy's ready. You're going to step that right foot back, keeping your left foot facing the front. Hands on your hips, we'll move them to square towards the front short edge. Don't forget the right foot is pivoted. Planted. Lunge into the knee if you haven't yet. And when you inhale, sweep those arms to lift. Just draw that breath up. Good. Virabhadrasana, the letter A. Arms are reaching high, fingertips are lifting. And then make those adjustments that you know how to make. The back arches a bit more, the knee lunges a bit deeper, the nose or the gaze shifts higher. Always drawing your hips to square. This time the right hip back and the left hip towards the front. Virabhadrasana, letter B, warrior two. Maybe the hands come to the center of your heart and then reach out. Here's that side facing pose, so the hips face the long edge of the mat. There it is. And try not to hinge forward. And in order to do so, to keep your spine just straight, your tailbone down, tuck your pelvis a little bit. Feel it lift and tuck forward to the long edge of the mat. Notice how that, just a simple adjustment can really make a big change in your posture. Turn those palms so that they face up and plug those shoulders down. Here's reverse warrior. This time it's the right arm that comes behind the back or down the leg, and the left arm reaching up and over. Remember, you can either turn your gaze or shift your nose up or down towards your mat. The deeper you lunge, the more you reach, the bigger stretch you're going to feel within your body. It's all moving into the side, the ribs here, expanding those intercostal muscles that keep the ribs together are really working for you here. To give you space and lift and stretch. Good. Extended side angle, forearm on thigh. Arm reaches up and over. Give yourself a long line of energy, maybe a little bit of a deeper lunge, crossing that pinky toe side of the foot towards the mat. You got it. Good. And let's move back to warrior two. Let those arms just reach out to the sides. Good. Give it 2 last breaths. There it is. Hands come to the hips, and you'll move that left back leg up to the top. Shake it out a little bit. Work through the space. You got it. Inhale, those arms will lift to reach towards the ceiling. Good. And exhale, hinge and fold. Melt all the way down. It's your last time here. Feel free to slide that block underneath you one more time. Support yourself. Feel rooted. There it is. Nice job. And then gently make your way to a seat. So if you'd like, just come to your seat or come to hands and knees and slide those legs around either side. Perfect. Let's place the feet on the mat with the knees lifted and prepare for Navasana, or a modified version of both poses. Come down onto your forearms, let your palms rest. Your chest is on a bit of an incline. Good, nice. Let's take it slow, there's no need to rush. Remember, you can always slide something underneath your tailbone if it's a little uncomfortable to cushion. And then start to lift your legs about 90 degrees. There it is, good. If there's space and the breath is really strong and present, you might extend the legs or take about a 45-degree angle or even straighten the knees and press the heels up and forward. A couple of different options for you. Try not to force, and remember your breath will change. It will start to shorten and quicken here. So now's the time to really hone in on the inhale and the exhale. Be deliberate with your breath. Good. Try closing your eyes if they're open. That way, you just close off the external distractions. Let's take it just one step further, if it works for you. And on the exhale, bend the knees and tap your toes to your mat. Slow and gentle. Inhale, let those toes rise up once again. And then a few on your own, just linking that breath, tapping to release breath. And inhaling, remember, is lifting. Yes. Good. Maybe that breath moves in a little bit fuller. You might even hear a gentle sound quality. Sometimes it sounds like ocean waves. Or if you're a Star Wars fan like me, Darth Vader. Good, a couple more. Nice. If you need to take a rest anytime, place those feet on the mat. Reclaim that breath. Maybe you stay there, maybe you rejoin. Good. Let's do 2 more after this one. Roxy is making it a little bit harder on Julie, and that's okay. Good. When you're ready, just let the feet plant, and then come to your seat. Keep the knees lifted. You're gonna curl and roll gently into a little ball by reaching your arms around the fronts of your shins and hugging and drawing yourself to round, tucking your chin towards your chest. Yes, give yourself some love, a warm, deep hug. Nice. A counter pose, just to kind of switch the direction of the spine. When you open and release that spine, place your hands, your palms, just behind your hips. Fingertips will face forward. Give yourself a little bit of space, maybe about 6 inches or so. And then just allow the chest to lift when you inhale to open by taking your head to fall into your shoulders. Good. If you'd like to lift your hips, like Julie and Abby are doing, this is reverse table. It's not necessary. You can keep the hips on the mat if you choose. Still get the same stretch. You see where you're at, what feels best for you. Perfect. If your hips are lifted, then you can just place them back on the earth with your next exhale. And if you stayed on the earth, then just shift that nose forward. Good. Slide your legs around one side or the other. Let's work to open the hips. Slide and lay all the way onto your belly. Your legs will be long and straight with the toes pointing back for right now. You might want a blanket or a block or some kind of support next to you. So if that's the case, just kind of keep it handy in case you'd like to use it. Good. For now, turn your nose to the left side of the room. We're gonna work that right hip first. I'll give you some option to switch, but let's just try it here to start. Place your hands however they're most comfortable, maybe field goal, kind of like Julie and Abby are laying right now. Or you can reach them out and extend them off of your shoulders, nice and wide. And this is half frog. Starting on the right side, you're gonna start to bring that right knee up and out. Think a frog leg. Good, beautiful. Now, if you like, you can extend your leg, pointing the toes towards that right side of the room, and even bringing that right knee up, even closer to the top front short edge of your mat. Give yourself a moment. It's okay to feel some sensation here. In fact, you should feel a little bit of something, so start to kind of shift where you do feel a little bit of opening happening. Now, not discomfort or pain, but just some gentle sensation. This posture is meant to open that tight hip area. Good. That's it. Now, if this is bothersome to your neck, or if it causes you pain in your neck or your shoulders, you have a couple of options. You can turn your nose to face the same direction as your knee or your toes. So in this case, it would be to the right side. And if it's hard for you to just really truly rest with your cheek on your mat, then maybe a prop underneath that right cheek just to lift the earth up to you. And because this is a yin type posture, because it's meant to work into the tissues, a couple of things to keep in mind. Relax all of your muscles. Let everything go. And just settle in for a few extra breaths. Good, you have 5 more rounds, so if you need to move into the space a bit more, take that opportunity now. Now, this is your last breath here. As you finish the exhale, take your time. Try to move as slow as you can. And straighten and lengthen the right leg to meet the left. So right toes back, top of the foot rests. Bring the forehead to the center of the mat. Good. And arms in and close to your body. Let's prepare to open the spine with either Sphinx, Cobra, or Up Dog. You'll press into the forearms and the palms for now, and then inhale, let the chest kind of lift up, relax the shoulders, soften into the neck. This might be a good space for you. Maybe you come a little bit higher, maybe lower a bit. You have the option of pressing into the palms and straightening the elbows to lift high. Yeah. Maybe the nose turns over each shoulder if you like. You give your neck a circle. Take a moment. This is your reset space. There's never a rush. Good. Nice. Start to lower back onto your chest and adjust and shift your arms. This time, start with the nose to the right side, and it's the left cheek that rests. Now the side's going to feel a little different, both in your neck and even in that hip joint. Just be prepared. Half frog on the left, keep your right leg long and straight, and then bring that left knee to the side, onto the wood floor here, whatever surface you're on at home. And then maybe that thigh comes a little bit higher. Maybe the toes reach a little bit further to the left side. But try and soften. So if you notice that you're drawing your hands together in a fist, or you're forcing that foot to stay flexed or pointed, just let everything go. And remember to adjust or shift, because you'll be here for several breaths. So a prop underneath your cheek, or maybe even on that inner aspect of the knee, especially if you're on a wood floor, you might like a little cushion there. Close those eyes and breathe. Just a few more rounds of that deep, full breath. Maybe you extend or lengthen through the leg. Shift the knee a little bit higher. Go ahead and begin to extend and lengthen the left leg so that it meets with the right. Take your time, please, nice and slow. Been in this posture for a bit of time. And then bringing the forehead to the mat in the center, the arms will draw in. Let's prepare for that. Nice back bend, Sphinx, Cobra, up dog, press into palms, maybe just a gentle lift, just the nose coming up. Maybe you lift and open a bit more so you can fire into the forearms and the palms. Or you can even press into the palms and straighten those elbows to lift your heart. Try to relax the shoulders, no matter what you choose. And then don't forget those options are to turn the nose side to side. Maybe just circle the neck. If you did it last time, try and begin on the opposite side. There you go. Good. Maybe just a little bit more time here to kind of balance things out. Good. And then take your time, no rush, no hurry. Start to press up and lift. Come to the hands and knees once again. And then shift your knees to one side. Eventually making your way to lying on your back so those legs will come forward. Be sure that you're in the center of your mat so that you can slowly lower down. And then draw your knees in. Give yourself a nice squeeze, a gentle rock. There's no rush. And if you need to circle those knees, maybe once to the right or once to the left. Or in the privacy of your home, if you'd like to take happy baby and open your hips. Use this time just to kind of reset and regroup. Good. Nice. I'm just coming a little bit closer to the earth now. Starting to prepare for that rest. Arms will reach out to the sides. And take a spinal twist, just dropping the knees to the right, just for a few breaths. Shift your nose to the left. Relax the shoulder down. This is that last opportunity to feel a stretch along your spine. So still conscious and paying attention to that strong yoga breath. There's a bit of length when you inhale. And there's a deeper twist when you exhale. Good. Start to move back in through to center. Take a pause there. Maybe your feet plant. Maybe the feet hover. Just take a moment. And then when you're ready, you'll drop the knees to the left. Replace the arms if you've moved them. Let the nose move over the right shoulder in the opposite direction of your knees. Try for as much softness as you can give yourself. Close your eyes and breathe. Good. Take the time to bring those knees back in and through to center. One last squeeze at home, maybe openness to your hips, shoulders lift, whatever you need. And then as you become ready, the legs will extend long and straight. And even if this is not where you're going to rest, just take a moment to feel your body on the mat. Let's take a cleansing breath together. Inhale, fill through your nose, draw that breath in and hold it at the top. Let your lips part and release the breath through your mouth. Good. Let's do that one more time. A little bit fuller on the inhale, draw in and hold, hold, hold. Part your lips and release. Let your body settle, let your mind relax. If this works for Shavasana, you can stay exactly where you're at. If you choose to maybe roll on your favorite side or even on your belly, just make yourself comfortable. This is the space that you work so hard for. This is Shavasana. Take your rest. And try to keep your body and your mind just still and quiet. So take notice of your full deep breath as it moves from the bottoms of your feet all the way through your body to the top of your head. Stop to allow it to swirl where needed. And this is what begins to bring you back to the surface, to awakening. Now some very gentle movements. The toes might wiggle. The thumbs touch the fingertips, just one at a time, or slide across very gently. And then a bit of a rotation or twirl on the ankles, the right wrist, and then the left. Send your nose over each shoulder, mindful to not move too quickly. Just keep opening with gentleness, generous breath. Stretching, bring the legs together, the arms up and over your head. As you inhale, point your toes, reach your fingers back, breathe in, and then breathe out, let everything go. Squeeze those knees so that they draw in nice and close. Rock a bit, sway, lift the shoulders. And then just for a couple of breaths, find your favorite side. Fetal pose, either the right or the left. Let everything stack in line and rest. This space of rebirth and renewal is an opportunity to begin today fresh. That's what this practice is all about. It begins the moment you leave the mat. You take this breath, this spirit of goodness with you, and you share with others in your words, your deeds, and your actions. Keep this peaceful space. Try to keep your eyes closed just for another minute. Press the top palm into the mat just so that you can push yourself up to a seat, and then just face the front. You may allow those legs to come underneath you or to cross. And with gratitude, the palms will draw together. And you'll feel the thumbs connect at the center of your heart. And closing your eyes, tuck your chin in towards your chest. And then feel your beautiful breath. As always, it was my pleasure to guide you this morning. The divine light in me very humbly bows to the divine light that's so obviously present in all of you. Om Shanti. May you know peace. Namaste.
Thank you, Michelle. I feel amazing. I hope everybody is doing well at home. We want to let you know we miss you. We're just sending out good vibes, good energy, wishing you well, happiness, prosperity, good health, and we can't wait to have you back in the studio again. We are going to have these live stream classes, trying to connect with community, with breath. So check out our online schedule for more. Have a great day and be happy and be peaceful.
Namaste, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michele Cassatta, Julie and Abby, my lovely assistants. Have a beautiful day.